I did want to go over some questions. I think we're gonna have to save that for later. So I'm sorry
That's
if
fine.
I pulled you in early. We
It's
just
probably
went in-
better to do it in the middle than the beginning anyway to
Yeah.
get more people to be there.
But yeah, I do want to have a second to go over the format as things are starting up.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna make sure all of this is set up properly. But yeah, I'll catch up with you later between rounds, probably after your first round.
Check, check, check.
All right, I do go last, so
Okay.
all right,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, you already have some prepared answers for questions, so that'll still work well.
I got you. Yeah, I was gonna say if you want to do it in the middle at some point, that's fine too. Just let me know. I'm gonna be here all day. So.
All right, we're gonna be watching.
I will let you know.
All right, man. Sounds
The
good. Good luck, guys.
quarterfinals, Group A.
Yeah.
I was interested in this one because I know 3 of these players. Hart's the main one I'm interested in here, but also McBeard and Dusk. I know them. They're from the last tournament. They both did pretty well. Halcyon I'm not too familiar with, so I'll be interested to see how they do as well. But particularly Hart is one of I really got my eye on.
People flow in right now. Yeah,
this is his first
I just
time
started up.
in
Can
one
you
of
guys
these
go
tournaments,
and make
but he's
sure
always
that it's
been
all up and running?
talked about as
Take a
one of the
quick
better
double check. It
players.
looks like it's good
You'll
on my
often
end.
see him at the top of.
Currently trying
you
to
know,
fix. I
daily
don't know why
challenges
these
and
screens
whatnot.
just like went all over the place, but they did.
So definitely interested to try to see
You can never plan for everything.
how this round shakes out. A little bit about the players.
right on this.
You know, I just went over Hart. Dusk, he is a mod creator. You can
once you
find
get
various mods created by him.
Loaded up. Hopefully by that time I'll have
When
all of
Streaker
these
on Covenant
fixed.
25
I was like, I will be
prefers
amazed if
very
there's
consistent
absolutely zero
play versus
technical
risky
issues.
play.
I was hoping to be
And
pleasantly
McBeard
surprised.
is similar to Hart, kind of a daily challenge.
Yeah, it looks fine.
right side.
I need to
Frequent
subscribe
top
to you
tenor.
clearly because I'm getting an ad.
And then unfortunately haven't really
The
seen much about Halcyon. But
affiliate status
see.
strikes again.
We'll see.
I really wish I could just turn off ads altogether. Honestly, I would just do it. Like, the revenue is not really going to be anything meaningful, anyways. So I hate that it's kind of detracting from viewers.
Don't know why
I'm
it's
unfortunately
dropping Hart
powerless
out.
against the almighty ads.
So they're all going 720, 30 FPS.
Best I can do is try to run pre-rolls.
If I keep
and
moving my mouse, you can see their names.
hope it's not too
but
bad.
You'll just have to remember at a certain
right
point where they
side.
are.
Left.
Okay, I think we're good. I mean,
I'm just fixing these right now. There we go.
yeah,
And then
the seeds you should probably just put them in the spreadsheet.
I was just gonna go ahead and throw them in the chat here.
Oops, I left a channel.
I was just gonna go ahead and throw it in the chat here. I will need to go ahead and pass them theirs as well.
Got my Red Bull.
So this one is
Give me
for
strength, Bull.
B.
Making me red. Definitely. Bless the energy drinks.
All right.
How's
can you
it-
guys hear
how's
me?
it going,
I've returned.
Vision?
I did give them their
Man,
secret.
this OBS is failing me. It
All
says
right,
I have
cool.
0
I'm
viewers, but
posting
clearly I
our
have at
seed
least
in here
one.
right now. Quarterfinal one.
But this should be fun. I'm
How do I get the?
I'm not sure if you caught the
where'd
intro,
text
but
box go?
I'm really interested in some of these players, especially Hart.
I lost the text
Be
box.
my
for
first time
quarterfinal
really
one
seeing him
somehow,
play
like
live.
the chat.
There's no chat.
And then Dusk and McBeard, we kind of know from the
I just
other
had a
tournament,
chat
are
for
pretty good
quarterfinal
too.
and it put it in. That was weird.
You put it in tournament planning, I think.
Okay.
So the retro is the quarterfinal too.
Yeah.
All right, I'll post it. You just stay in quarterfinal one, and I'll post.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and post.
I'll
You can
keep
go ahead and
moving my
post
mouse
for
as much as I
number
can. It's easier, I think, than I didn't really prepare any overlays. I wish you could just have this sort of always display their names.
And here is quarterfinal
gotta be
one.
some way
So
to do that,
everyone
right?
that is in here right now, if you pop over to tournament planning, you should be able to see.
They don't have tournament planning, but I'm posting it in chat.
Oh, whoops! I just yeah, wrong one.
That's the secret room.
Give me a pop out window and please work properly. All right, please tell me this is gonna work.
Okay. You would like this one, right, Vision? This
Oh
looks like a
my
Rector
gosh.
run. Do you think they're gonna execute
Capturing the wrong
the
window
dark
again.
calling?
Yeah, let me. It's fine. We'll. You figure that out. I'll talk about what's
Actually,
happening
looks like
right
a pretty
now.
good burn
So,
bright setup, huh?
Yeah.
looks
Wicked
like,
Blaze and Purifying Cleanse.
So Melting Remnant, Stygian original is
Oh,
the C.
is it? Is it offered? I didn't catch it there.
and
Oh, it's
we're up
not. Well,
against the
guess we're
Patient.
not gonna see. Darn.
So we're looking at
Hopefully
Exploding
for mine
Candle
there will
and
be.
Improved Firebox as their initial artifact choice. I think Exploding
Burn
Candle,
Bright makes sense, though. I think.
very
I
strong
mean, you got Wicked
option
Blaze and
for
Purifying
just,
Cleanse.
dealing with one of the weaknesses, these starting cards.
Wouldn't you think
Looks like,
Exploding Candle
that
as well?
Helicon went for Improved Firebox.
Oh, okay.
Um,
They're going Firebox. Like all of them are
I
going
would've gone
Firebox.
for the
Oh, Dusk
candle,
went. Dusk went
Dusk
Candle.
went for the candle. Heart went for the
All right.
Firebox.
We have gameplay now. It's amazing.
Okay. So we have a split on the opening artifact. I think those
By
are
the way,
pretty
I'm not
big,
commentating with the
impactful
mainstream, so what
artifacts.
you hear me
Yeah, I
talking,
would lean
it's
towards the
just me.
Exploding
I'm not
Candle.
like
Same thing you
talking
said,
over them or
it really
anything.
covers
I'm
a
only
lot
talking
of your
them
issues,
over
and also
them
when
in
you
our
start
stream.
thinking about like, what did having to fight Divinity and a lot of shard enhanced enemies
Yeah,
add to the
Candle,
game. I think
I
sweeping
mean,
effects are more important now than ever.
I guess
and that
with
was
the
already
armor
very prominent in
trial,
the game. Exploding Candle
it
really
could be
is
an
like,
issue, but
a way
still,
to dip into that at
just
really low
two
cost.
of them
Especially if
takes
you
out all the
guys
armor, then a little
on
hit
a
will
tomb
finish them
or
off.
anything with burnout really, or reform. They have a reform in Wicked Blaze. So I think it's
I wonder if their
interesting. I'm
thought
trying
was
to think
that
of
the Burn
what
Bright will be so
the
powerful that
improved
they didn't need
Firebox
it.
would enable with these
could
clans,
maybe see
which is
that.
not a lot. Maybe Sap.
So there are some combo things that you can do that involve putting intrinsic on really, really powerful spells and having a strong start. But that seems like a really long-term thing to look for, especially when you already have the dregs that work with the candle right now.
So early
Yeah.
win to
So
Dusk.
this gives you a lot of tempo. Looks like
2 seconds
we
behind
got,
his heart.
Dusk with a clean first
Molded.
ring kill here.
Tight. Ooh,
I'm
offering
gonna have
offering
to get
token
the
with
timer running.
Tangalicious. Interesting.
Where is
Offering token for him as
So I'm
well.
just
I
gonna
would have
set
probably
that.
took Titan's Grat, but just to
We
give my
also have
energy
a
siphon
clean
something to hit
kill
with, but
from,
maybe they're really
Hearts.
hoping for the Crypt Builder.
there we go.
What's McBeard
Yeah, I
gonna
expect
take?
a lot of
Gotta
I
be
expect
molded,
a lot
right?
of flawless kills.
Ooh,
early
Eel
on
Gorgon,
here,
yikes.
Especially just given the strength of the start. Oh wow, look at that unit draft. Offering Monument.
But
Eel
offering
Gorgon.
Monument though.
Ooh,
That is insane.
yeah. So
I
what do you
mean-
do? You can reform the Gorgon without.
I think
any
I saw
burnout
Hart looking at the map.
problems.
Yeah, I guess the real trick there, like, if you're one of the players that went for the firebox, do you try to just do something insane with the offering monument? I think you could do that in a normal run and have it be pretty
I
consistent.
didn't
and pretty
catch what
strong. And it's something
I
that
guess
you
we'll
could
find
pull
out
off
what
here, but we have
Tangalicious
to
took.
consider the timer. Timer's going to be taken
Whoa.
against these players. I don't think you have time
Siren
to
and
execute any
something.
insane combos.
Wait,
or
did he
do
not
anything
go
with
the
the
right?
firebox. Also, that's not a priority draw unit, so you couldn't guarantee have it to go with your firebox turn 1, even if you didn't have any other units in the deck.
Train
yeah,
Steward.
you
I
mean
wonder
like
who
the
Train
offering.
Steward is.
Um,
That must be GOG,
yeah.
right? If they do GOG,
So
they
we
just
got
come in as
Invasion
Train
here in
Steward.
the second one, it's going to be hard to get flawless on this.
Yeah, in fact, I think it's going to be absolutely impossible.
Oh
There's
yeah,
just
so
not
Hart did
enough
take the
ways to
offering
go wide
monument.
here.
I figured he would. I mean,
It's
that's
possible
kind of
there
that
was some
daily
setup
challenge
that
style
involved
play. It looks like he's
Rector
taking some
Flicker on
damage here,
bottom,
though.
Softening up the first wave, or I guess you'd have to throw it against either bottom or middle wave. Problem is they didn't have enough like action cards in their opening hand to deal with the top floor if they tried to focus
So,
lower.
We'll see if
Right,
Dusk
so
has the same problem.
The Burning Candle. Isn't
Burning
out,
Candle
so
should make
you
it a
have
lot
to
easier
Look out with that.
for Dusk.
Yeah, I mean the odds weren't too bad with 5 dregs in your opening deck, but just didn't quite shake out that way. So I'm really interested in
streamer
players looking
mode.
at these
Okay,
first hell
interesting.
packs, especially the players that went for improved firebox. I don't think
Feel like
either
they
of
should
them
turn
have
that off,
encountered
right?
that draft yet. Yeah, they haven't. Or no.
Ooh, unlucky for
I
Dusk
don't
there to
know
not
what
really
payoff
get a
spells there
drag
are
or
with these
even like a
clans for that.
purifying cleanse or something.
We have the.
Although
we
I
have the
guess he'll take most of that
buffed,
out. Yeah, he took
waxing
every.
spike,
He's gonna
which will
prevent all the
actually do
oh
some
no, he
serious
took a
work.
damage. Okay.
but that's more of
So
a
that
long-term
one
thing.
damage
Like, I wouldn't wanna
equates
throw that on the
to
Eagle in turn
the
one,
same amount of
even with the
damage
Purifying
that Hart
Cleanse, it's
took
gonna be
in
tough to keep that
context
thing
of
up
this scoring
consistently.
system.
But obviously reform it. But if you reform it, it's coming back with burnout.
What do you think
0
Hart
because,
takes here?
The
Skip.
Waxen Spike is not an enhancement on the unit, so it will not stay.
How's
I'm
it
not,
going,
I'm not sure what
Zombified
you're trying
Potato?
to do with it. Again, you could have some insane starts with some big spells, namely things like Crit Builder. You know, a lot of your like common, uncommon, big chunky
Wait, is
spells.
that another
or
Eel
an
Gorgon?
intrinsic
Is my
superpowered
is
Ice
my vision
Storm.
right here?
I'm still
Double
not sure
Eel
that you're doing
Gorgon?
much with the
The hell?
Firebox, but there's definitely a big
The
meta
hell is
strategy
this
here
seed?
that wants big chunky spells to go with the Firebox and wants a lot of
So
payoff
wait,
cards to
did they-
play after those big chunky spells.
I
That
saw
involve,
that.
you know,
Oh, were they
X
just doing like
costs.
an infusion maybe?
I could see there being some kind of combo deck here.
Yeah,
it
they
just
must have been
seems a
doing
bit
an
too
infusion.
ambitious.
My eyes are, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Red
I
Bull's
think
not kicked in yet.
it's
So
interesting.
whoa.
I see Hart
Whoa.
hasn't completed a run with Gorgon yet, or hasn't. Mastered
Huh, Hart
Gorgon.
must not like the Gorgon.
So
I gotta
perhaps,
tell you, that Gorgon, if you
slow
just stick
strategy
some
here.
health on it,
Oh,
there's
there's
that
the
Waxen
spikes.
any amount of damage, you will clear
Just talked
everything in
about
the game.
That's gonna be an interesting one, and he's on the Firebox strat.
Right, but he doesn't have the other artifact that we saw that would help, which is the
This will be interesting.
so he
First
kinda
effect,
needs
yeah.
he kind of needs.
I kind of
intrinsic
am
for that
leaning
to
toward Dusk
gain
right
sort of
now,
consistency.
but
That'll give you a really strong start, though, which can be very important in tournament.
Depending on how
settings,
this shakes
making
out, I
sure
could
you
see
clear
Hart
those
getting an
first
insane
couple
deck.
waves, especially if you're going heavy, like high threat level. If you face Shard and
I haven't really
Hands,
been watching
Gilded Wing
McBeard
in the
and
first wave, that can be tough to
Halcyon
deal
though,
with
so
if you're on a setup heavy
I
deck.
honestly don't
So
know.
turn
Maybe
one
they're.
Waxen
I mean,
Spike
McBeard
for,
hasn't taken any
6,
damage.
5
He
or
does
6
have the
picks is gonna
candle.
be really, really big.
Looks like
Ooh, draft. Didn't even notice that.
There's an early lead here.
You know me and you
developing
like that one,
McBeard,
Vision.
Getting a flawless ring
Draft
two,
top tier, right?
which is the only one to do
Top
it.
top 5 maybe. Top 5 card in the game right
Yeah, a
now.
lot of like tiny leaks there, and it's really just an issue of not being able to go wide enough, despite the exploding candle.
True.
For a couple of our players. So I guess really it ends up being Hart was the one. who
You
ran
could
into
even
problems with the
you could
candle.
do a reform Eel Gorgon
Not too
thing.
surprised
You
the
can remove
Firebox
all the
players had
burnout
an early
pretty
lead.
easily, just
Yeah,
by reforming
and
it,
I think everyone took the trial.
and then obviously the burnout goes away at the end. I think,
The
right?
the Mark of Invasion.
Or
yeah,
does
that
it
was
does it
very-
just burn
it
them
was
out?
a- it was a
Actually, never
tempting
have
one.
actually tried that.
There's also
mean-
like there's some give and take there. We've set it up so it's not entirely, you just have to auto take all the trials.
I think if they
But when you're
if they
going
did,
for high shards, which is the thing
the
you need to be
wickless- what is
doing
it,
to
the-
set yourself up long term, I think.
the plus
a lot of
10
the
on
trial
reform,
buffs,
they have that
like
card.
bonuses are things that actually
I don't know
push
why I can't
you
remember the
ahead,
name of
I
it.
think, of the curve of
Maybe if they
Shard
got
Enhanced
that
enemies early
on holdover.
Like sometimes
Yeah,
you just need that tiny bit of extra gold.
Yeah, interestingly, that market of invasion is an example of something that
Oh, it's a resolve
we were
trigger.
trying to avoid, which is
And
changing
resolve
behavior based on the
happens.
scoring
Does it happen
system, and
before the
that
burnout
one, like,
ticks?
a 4 damage leak is not a big deal, but 5 points is a big deal.
Similar
so
to Dark Calling.
you can't get away from it completely.
Yep, you're right.
So
You're right.
McBeard
Yeah,
is
they
not
would
the
burn
base of a
out, and then
massive
you
leak,
would.
by the
That
way.
that makes sense. So
To
actually, yeah,
get
you'd
some
have
kind of
to
burnout
you'd have to
units
play
start
Purifying
dying fast.
Cleanse
He could not deal
that
with
turn
multiple
to
tank
have
waves,
it be
and
permanent.
trying to save himself health, he ended up drip falling.
But I guess if
and
you had
creating
a
triple tank
wicked
wave
whatever on holdover, and
Um,
maybe you permafrost a Purifying
Disciple
Cleanse for the
Protectors,
Relentless, that might work.
445s. Set up 3 of those with a drip fall.
I am kind of
Right.
missing that. You said McBeard. Okay.
Get the
or
names
sorry,
up
it was
here
Hart.
again real quick.
I think Hart was the one who was having the leak.
Okay. So he,
Well, let's see. McBeard is on ring.
Or no, yeah, it was McBeard,
FPS
right?
is.
He'd already cleaned it up. He
screwing
got
me
his,
up here,
record
but-
flicker back.
Can I get that FPS
So,
thing off? I don't really need to know the stream
Hart,
quality.
putting burnout on
Okay. Oh.
both of his units there and was burning out for relentless, but pulled it off with timely purified cleanse. But he did take some damage on a ring.
I believe Hart is in the. Oh, I can see on the left
now,
here. So
Halcyon
yeah, Hart
also
is ahead of
going for a
everybody
really,
right now.
really high threat strat. In fact, he's on the
McBeard, I
highest
think, is
threat setup
tailing a little
here.
bit, so we'll see if he
Definitely
can
seems to be a
keep the
a
health.
key
If he
split.
does,
So
though,
we
he's
have
in the
two
lead.
players on the top going for the exploding candle builds, or the 2 players at the top left and bottom right diagonal. But then we have this top to bottom split.
Oh,
of
you're right,
kind of
because that
high
burnout
shard
is
strategies
permanent.
and low
Like
shard strategies.
it's like
I tend
innate
to lean
to the
towards
unit,
taking less
right? So
shards
I guess
early
just
on.
two
Obviously, there are
two
things that
burn
consistently
two
make it
reforms and
worth
you're
it.
good. That makes sense.
But there's a real boon to avoiding shards early and then picking them up late.
Formless Child.
And it doesn't matter,
Ooh.
especially when you're playing in a format where that tiny leak early on can cost you a lot of points.
I could see Formless Child being insane with Eel Gorgon, right? I mean, if you just hit it once,
I'm actually very curious
right?
to see the boss relic distribution here. In the last tournament, we saw just an insane amount of
Kind of
cards
jealous that
around,
I'm
insane
not in
amount
this
of
one.
cards. But I think
Like Eel Gorgon is one of my
I think there
favorite
tends
new
to be a high
units.
condensation of units.
I've just
given
every
the,
time I've used it, it's been a
enhancements now
steamroll.
that cause people to take Light of Seraph less. But there are a lot of combos that actually really need their Light of Seraph now to actually go wide enough to have enough individual strikes.
I'd be like a kid in a candy store in
We
this
kind
one.
of reached a point with Divinity where you have to count the number of strikes you have.
You could even add the
just as much as
Draft
you have to worry about the
Infusion to
damage
Eel
that each of
Gorgon.
these
That way
deal.
it just
So you can
immediately
actually
burns
deal with
out,
these waves that
and then
have,
target every Merchant of
5
Magic and
or 6 units,
try
some
to
of which have
really
shields.
hard roll on holdover maybe. If not holdover, permafrost.
Obviously, Eel
Get
Gorgon
the
going
Wicked
a long way to
Blaze.
help that.
Could also like spell chain it if it's
The other thing to worry
permafrosted.
about
That's
is
like a
what is our patient
pseudo
plan
holdover
long-term
kind of.
here? You have the potential to get something like an unnamed tome later, which does have a pretty high occurrence rate in the last couple of rings, but you're gonna have to find something like unnamed tome, mortal entrapment, or a good chump blocking plan, I think, to deal with patient.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you have reforms as an option.
yeah, you're right. Wait, I guess. Well, I think it would save you one.
We have.
I think because it starts with one burnout from the draft,
difference in
right?
pace here
So then
with,
you would die.
Dusk
You would
and
die because
Heart,
it wouldn't resolve,
being basically a full ring
and then you can just immediately start reforming. I think. I don't know how strong that would be, though.
I'm not
Honestly,
sure that the clock is going to
It
be
could be
too big
strong,
of a
though.
problem for these
I mean,
players, given the pace that they're going at.
if the
Finishing,
enemy
the
troop
first
is
major
like
boss
a
fight still
scourge
with
shufflers
36
that don't have
minutes
much
left is not
damage
too bad.
at the start, you might.
Looks like we're starting
have a
to
while
run into
before
some
he
problems
dies.
with shard enhanced enemies. McBeard is getting there against these waves, but it's not by a whole lot, and he's about to lose his Titan Sentry.
Oh, that's
gonna
right. You
cost
don't
a
even
lot of
need
damage.
holdover on it.
McBeard is needing to
That is a good
restart,
point. So you wouldn't even need holdover.
The ring 3, which will lose.
Looks like that's Halcyon to me. Maybe not. I might have these shuffled around.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be awkward now that I'm like, now you're kind of got me thinking. Could be awkward.
So
I'm worried about.
Much as heart.
I'm worried about Halcyon as
Right.
well.
Like maybe the just the Burn Bright Rector or whatnot.
Looks like
Or
some
even
of
the
the
Frost Shark.
logos are ended up getting shuffled around as players went in and out. So that's where we ran into a problem there. All right.
Okay, so Halcyon's able to get the kill. Let's see if he'd pull it off flawless. It was a flawless victory, so that is good for him.
So is Halcyon the only one that went
Sorry
sweeper?
for that, everyone. I'm rearranging these.
You know, sweeper with a lot of reforms might be not bad
Yep.
either.
And
Like we
Formless
lost the
Child,
screens there for a
we
second.
have we have Spike of Stygian. I missed that as the Ring 3 reward for those improved Firebox players. That might be pretty solid, I think.
I could see like draft into Cold
That's going to do a
Kalia
lot
being a
against
pretty
your
good one.
floating bosses,
If you
and
are,
maybe against like a
then
wave
it's
1
like
shard enhanced
you
enemy,
could
something
then
like
do
a
your
Fire Wing later
holdover
on.
reform
But I'm not
strat.
sure that it's doing.
Or if you don't
everything
find
need to do in
holdover,
the,
just thin the deck out.
non-floating boss fights, right? Like
Multi-strike
I don't think it's
striking sweeper
helping
could
you
be
that
pretty
much
good.
against the Ring 8 fight.
Right, because mainly, I don't think, and no one took first Hell Pact. It would be stronger with that.
Now you could.
Stream
It does
is really
possibly
blurry for
enable
McBeard right now.
a very free top floor setup against Divinity, because you can at least set
Oh, actually, I
Divinity,
think that's just
into
on my
Oblivion.
screen.
He'll purify
Maybe the-
other debuffs like the Frostbite, but he's not going to get rid of the sap. So that at least means you're kind of guaranteed that setup on top floor safely against sweep, as long as you can get intrinsic on it. But I'm not sure what it's doing in the fights between here and there. I feel like there's a Pyre Stone housing available.
Dusk is doing pretty
Which
good.
is really, really
It's
interesting.
got a nice
So
amount of
Dusk
health right
Halcyon
there.
can
I
be-
do like that health
Dust completes
total.
Ring 4 without.
Ooh, another
with
Wicked Blaze.
flawless
Ooh,
victory.
Engulfed in Smoke, though. Even Subsuming Blade. These are all cards I love.
And it looks like
Frenzied
Heart
Swarm.
is getting close.
I gotta
to
imagine.
four.
Did Heart take
I
gifts?
think McBeard is
I feel like
just,
Heart-
really
Heart's,
having a hard
like,
time getting through Ring
build
3. It might be the end.
Would want gifts, right?
Weird ending up on.
We'll find out here in a minute.
Wickless Tycoon. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. He's going to be fine. He'll make it out of this, but he's not well set up in terms of his priority unit draws. And I also think that's going to end up hurting him when he sees this Firestone housing. Now, there were a lot of tools that popped up to help deal with Seraph the Patient and also with Top Floor Divinity. We already discussed the Spike, but there's actually both a Frenzied Swarm and an Engulf and Smoke here. I kind of like the Engulf a lot.
It's a bit more
I can see players going for Frenzied Swarm. Yeah, I think...
Yeah, I guess because he didn't take any of those Titans grats. All he really has is lances.
So Engulf is helping you deal with all attacks, including things that
consume too much, and you would be. You could still do the Surge Stone trick, but
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this.
That's a few moving parts that
the benefit
you may or may not get. There's the holdover though.
There are the drip falls in the deck, so they kind of
offering token.
Stack.
Interesting.
So I'm not sure it's a clear choice what is better, but I think with Titan's Gratitude.
So what do you guys think the offering token
Frenzied Swarm
idea is here?
So I guess also previously you really couldn't set up a strategy too well that involved like multiple
just
copies
a free
of
incant basically.
Be big. But now that we have Value Stone, you can actually go
and then
-2
maybe
Engulf,
speculatively if you can get Titan's Tooth
start
or
making copies of it and actually reasonably cast
the sap
2 to 3 copies of it. You can't do that with
or whatever it is.
Because of the wording on the card.
It could be pretty good.
So I'd be a bit worried about petering out in Relentless fights. Though maybe that's not that big of an issue if you're already putting burnout on your kill floor anyways.
Ooh,
you only have
flash freeze piercing from dust.
It's true. The other thing to consider though is that stealth does not work with the Gorgon. So Dazed does.
McBeard with the Wickless Tycoon. Is he going to go for a hold the gold type thing? I hope he remembers that the gold doesn't matter for score in this one.
They better be killing in only a couple rounds.
Yeah, I've seen a couple players take Gorgon and actually use its essence. The assumption being, and from what I've heard from a lot of these players, it's a little tough to keep Gorgon around in some of the later fights or even some of the earlier fights against a lot of very spiky shard enhanced enemies.
Looks like Halcyon might be having some awkward turns here.
You just don't want that additional thing to worry about. Really looks like, is it just Halcyon? No, Halcyon and Rising Dust both sticking with the Gorgon.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he has a Siren Infusion on it, which seems smart, since that gives you both health and damage. Which
I wonder if Titan's Grat would have been better there,
because it to scale those.
It would have killed that, right? It had 2 spell weakness.
The other thing would be
maybe
like
maybe not.
Baron Infusion, but I haven't seen the Baron pop up yet. See here, we got a Burnout Champ from McBeard, level 2. I'm just watching.
I think my problem right now with Halcyon's setup is the sweeper doesn't have a way to really get damage if he's not going to focus on reforming it.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Hard here ended up on a strategy of double offering monument and the firebox, trying to set himself up for a really, really strong start with this Siren. But you can see that the result of that wasn't anything too crazy. He actually faced a massive leak against Wave 1, which should be the wave that he's more prepared
to deal with. I didn't even
this,
notice what happened
strategy than other people. And that was kind of a result of just having too many units built into the deck. The fact that you start with these dregs, which just don't count as a spell, even if it was a worthless spell, you would have gotten a lot further. Just having your other starter spell be something that you can throw in to keep your cycle going.
I wonder if in a situation like this, even if you throw away all your points on this ring, it might be worth just restarting.
Why, I mean, double down in my opinion that Firebox
5 pyre health is risky.
Rough to make work. I mean, I'm sure it's doable, but it's not easy.
Maybe he'll just try to see how the
damage gap for Halcyon
the boss fight shakes out here.
200 damage short, which would be a kill if he.
I mean, he's definitely able to feed this Siren with a lot of gas. That must be his main game plan.
Plus his pyre, but I don't think it's going to get him there.
I just wonder.
He just comes up a tiny bit
that's
going
to run into some issues
he's gonna be looking
on
for
Divinity, but maybe he'll get 2 of the Sirens. I could see that working.
Was enhanced with multi-strike.
If you had 2 Sirens, then you're hitting 4.
So
Lifesteal's not doing him any favors either.
I think he has just 1 multi-strike on it, right? Maybe he has 2.
So doing very solid here with only 1 missed ring, which
who restarted? Oh, Halcyon.
So we got a restart for Halcyon. Let me just add that.
Yeah, it's gonna set him back a little bit. So we have Guz in chat. By the way, Guz, scores
So-
are updated live.
Ring
We just don't have them available on screen currently, but they are being
4. I'll
tracked.
just
Yeah, right now Rising Dust in the clear lead, but he's also a bit ahead of the pace. But
So it looks like we have a restart from McBeard as well.
All right, I'm gonna say I'm
McBeard
just gonna
having
I'm gonna
trouble
put
against
these
Incant.
into
Oh,
chat.
another
Enhancement.
Ring 4
So he had to restart and ring 3 as well. So
restart
he's
4.
gonna struggle.
No, that's not
to
ring 3.
keep
That's
up.
ring 4,
He's gonna
right?
hope that the others are gonna struggle in later rings, maybe.
Yeah, McBeard may be a little too ambitious with the shards. Went for a really high threat strategy, like long-term high threat strategy,
All right.
but is struggling to keep up with a lot of these.
If they
tanky shards
forget,
against
I'll
enemies.
just make
He seems
sure
to be able to go
we have
wide
it on
enough
record.
thanks to the
Ring
Titan
4.
Sentry, the offering
Because I heard one. I think Narnian
Titan
said ring
Sentry,
3,
but he
which
just can't go tall enough.
not
in
that it
terms of
really
damage right
matters,
now.
I guess, but I mean it could matter. It could matter
Yeah.
I
based
think
on
he
what
ended up hitting
they
his units in a bad order.
they
as
flawless,
well, which is
victory
really
on or not.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I still I struggle to make these offering monuments work in a
So Hart
light
does
spell
commit.
deck. Hart getting a ring 5 kill, but took
Good
a
work.
lot of damage.
I mean,
Yeah, and it was really just to a first
if
wave
he's
lead.
confident he can beat Arcus,
Just
this
very,
makes
very small
sense
single shard enhanced enemy.
to
Couldn't
just
quite
still take the
get off the
points.
ground fast enough. I think his deck is pretty well set up to do that.
Ballsy. He's a
Ooh,
ballsy
not what you
player,
wanna
I'm
see when
noticing.
you just took a
Ooh,
bunch of
that is
damage
not a
to
good
the chest
event
of
when
it.
you want
I
to
was gonna
see
have some
on
money
low
money
health.
in the chest. I
Oh man.
sometimes if my deck is struggling, I'll take
Oh,
it
what is he
anyway.
doing? Hell venting. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. He can fit
Yeah, I mean,
both on the
just-
floor.
you have to make
Have just
concessions if
one
you feel
offering
like you're
token
behind
for
the-
now.
the curve of the game.
Maybe he takes
I've
another
put
pip
myself
up
down to
grade
2 or
to
3
get
health,
both
to
for
take the
the
big
next 2
chest, actually.
fights.
And then usually have to skip.
I think that double siren. You know, I think
part of the
he
game.
must have been planning for that hell
So
vent
there were a
because
lot of possible outs
with both of these
to,
sirens, his deck should
the
be
patient here.
massively
We've
more
certainly seen a
powerful
lot
now.
of them. The days, the stealth.
He's
But it
probably
doesn't seem
fine
like
just
players are actually
gassing
leaning
down
that hard into
here.
them.
Maybe he'll
Obviously, we've
gas
seen a
up
couple of
top
these
though with
cards
that
taken,
one. Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen a single holdover or value stone yet.
I gotta say,
Yeah,
I
mean,
actually
there's time.
favor Hart's deck now
There's a couple
in
rings
terms of
left, yeah.
finishing the game.
What you really don't want to do is be
I'm
running
trying to
into these
think.
final rings,
Dusk
banking on
really
that,
has to make
banking on
that
encountering
Gorgon
that.
work.
I'd also be
That's
worried
like
about
his. I think he'll make it
the
too.
Frenzied Swarm, if that's the plan for that any player's supposed to go with, though. I think it's all stealth. But if you go for Frenzied Swarm against
I-
Patient and you don't actually
McBeard,
have
I don't know if on
health on your
stream
units,
McBeard is
he
really
will jump
blurry,
through
but on
it. You're
my
not gonna be able to
Discord
apply
that I'm
enough
looking
days
at,
to
it's so
actually
blurry that I can't really see
lead
what's
him with days
happening in
as he's
McBeard,
approached
so I haven't really
forward.
been able to see
Like,
what
that days isn't
he's
gonna keep
doing.
you around during Relentless Fight. It's just going
Looks blurry to you
help
too?
not
Okay.
get whacked by him early on.
I mean, it
Uh,
can if you combine with Dripfall and Holdover. Like, so I would like. I think Daze is a better long-term plan simply because of stealth not working on the Gorgon. For those that are using the Gorgon as their main unit, you can't get
I'm
a lot of
surprised we're
damage.
not seeing that many of them. I think players
Yeah,
are generally shying away from Gorgon.
I'm hoping mine
like obviously
is
some
fine
people
when I
find them,
do
but maybe
mine,
for
'cause
lack
I'm-
of experience with it. I mean,
I'm
for as much as I play
multi-streaming
Monster
to
Train,
YouTube
I've
and
only
Twitch
encountered
right
Gorgon
now,
once, and it wasn't
and
even during
then
a natural
I'll
run,
also be
during a
streaming to
challenge.
Discord. We'll see. I might have to cut out one of the streams if I have issues.
Completes ring 4, but since it was
Yeah,
a
my internet's
restart,
not the greatest.
no bonus for the. He took no damage after the restart, but no bonus for that because he did have
Well,
to restart.
On the bright side, that health actually ends up becoming big. So McBeard
Comcastic,
completing that
shall we
fight,
say.
staying alive despite the restart, but McBeard preserving that health coming into this that concealed caverns later on could be really big.
Oh right, because you have to give up health for money.
So I like the setup on the waxen spikes here. So is that a spell chained waxen spike? And he doesn't even have the first hell pact.
Yeah, that
One's a little
seems
curious.
strange. Maybe he's banking on getting -2 cost on it.
There's that
The
other
value stone,
siren.
that's decent value. You're still not getting insane returns. I guess actually the benefit, you can play that for 0 and still give the extra burnout. Because the burnout 4 is
I
not
wonder
tied to
if
your X value, so
actually.
you really need to just extend the life of the kill floor that you set up with it. Spell chain on Wax and Spike.
I wonder if it's
specifically
worth
is
Heart
not
to
bad.
get an Amber
Yeah,
upgrade
that's true.
so
I
that
didn't think about it
in the
that way.
situation where
If
turn
that
2 he
was the
draws
goal, it
both
makes sense. I kind of would
sirens,
maybe,
he
you
can put 'em
even
down.
save the second copy to play on a recycle, which
I could see that
think
being
if you're
maybe
going
useful.
with the Gorgon has so many attacks that might be wise.
Interesting.
Now McBeard
That's a
ended
pretty
up
tough
with an Ice
floor.
Storm, which I think is one of the big boons to
But I
Stygian
think this is fine.
since the release of Divinity, specifically given
30
how that
30
interacts with
damage piercing,
Divine
yeah.
Temple. Yeah, and he just saw a +10 piercing, but chose to throw it on a Titan's Gratitude instead. Maybe holding out for
So Dusk is
+30 and
actually
holdover
pulling
and
ahead
avoiding
now,
piercing?
just
I'm
in
not sure.
terms of time.
Dusk with another flawless victory on ring 6.
Probably
Yeah, Dusk is in a
that
very good
zero
position. Now,
cost
he's got a
Formless
risky
Child
draft here
is
with
kind
his
of
Gifts for a Guard.
tempting, right?
It's possible you want to do something with the Formless Child, but the Gifts for a
I
Guard
find it
is
awkward at 2, but at 0
really
it's
tempting when
not
it has
too
a lot
bad.
of give and take. So obviously it's
You
going
could also, I
to
guess, just infuse it into
waves,
something.
avoid leaks, but he's not having too big of an issue with that. And his
Not
deck
that
has
he
some very
has
key
any
spells.
slots
If you hit Engulf,
available, really, I guess.
or you're molded, if you hit either of those things just one time really early on, or you draw your cards in the wrong order, or his Frenzied Swarm, you might just be in a position
Could
where
put
you're
it on
forced
a
to restart.
siren, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know
but
if that
he
makes
has
any
Frenzied
sense.
Form. He doesn't need to play the Gifts for a Guard if he hasn't drawn it yet. And if he has it in hand, then he doesn't have to worry about it hitting that one key spell. And that's really the only key spell I see that he has. That being said,
I like
don't
this
see a lot of
seed,
benefit
actually.
either,
Like,
so that's why
everybody's
he
still in it.
skipped it.
I can't even really call a clear,
we expect
definitive
double
winner
Urzel's compound
or
for Major
loser at
Boss
this
Relic
moment.
here. I
Like,
feel like, I mean,
I
certainly
could
the
see
Firebox
literally
players
any
want
of
it.
these 4 being top 2.
And I guess the decks
So
are
this is pretty good,
lean,
I
so
think,
maybe
so far.
I see.
filling
I
the
don't
card draw.
know. Compound is draw. Okay, so light is capacity, and I just think of them as capacity draw and Ember. So
Dusk
looks
goes
like,
with the draw.
Dusk went for the draw. He'd already gone Ember, so he's not going for a super wide floor. But the Gorgon is kind of his main attack strategy, which makes sense that you would take draw to enhance that. Yeah, I'm just making sure. So Holoson.
The classic endless
So I'm caught up in
Titan
the
Sentry,
script.
always nice to see.
really interesting the reforms on offering monuments, giving them that extra 5 health to get
Just
one more
looking
trigger.
ahead,
where
see what he wants
usually
to
bringing
do
them back
here.
by
Does he
any
want
means
to
is not actually that productive.
make that 25
Yeah,
health
It's
upgrade?
still not like
just
amazing,
commit to
but at
Siren
least it's
being
a way to kind
tank?
of cycle your reform cards.
Or does
and
he
generate a couple
want to
more
hold out for like a
triggers.
multi-strike maybe?
Yeah.
It does seem his game plan really
I wonder if,
revolves
like,
around
maybe
Gorgons. I
infusing
don't.
one
I
of
could
those with a siren or
see the
something
25
wouldn't have
health
any
just
value.
being decent to lock in.
Yeah, the question of whether or not you
Though
feel like
maybe he
keep
would rather
up.
have an armor incant or something.
Like after
not sure.
Oh, Halcyon?
Yeah, I guess it would.
Looks
You'd
like
have
it.
to have double
Yeah, he
triggers.
doesn't really have anything he can do.
Yeah, I mean, if you see a
Let's-
founding seal, then I wouldn't worry too much about how your offering monument's doing anyways. Also,
That's
the offering
true.
monument with a
I guess
founding seal
factoring in
would
the
actually die
fact
faster
Halcyon and
as well.
McBeard both restarted, they could have a lot more to
so
make up here.
100
So
damage
Dusk
short
and
from
Dusk
Holly
and
from,
Heart definitely
25
probably have the
plus.
edge.
also struggling a little bit, but he hasn't played his spells as McBeard. so-
Beard might have to
Yeah, it looks
restart
like that's gonna be a
too.
big
No,
restart
okay,
from
that
Halcyon.
drip fall does it.
McBeard-
Okay,
McBeard
so
got it though.
Halcyon ring
McBeard.
5.
He's pulling back into it. Interesting. He had an offering monument die earlier from actual combat damage.
Ring 5 is brutal.
They're able to
And
get that back and have it still.
Every single
He's
boss
got
can just
flawless
be
there, and so
ridiculous.
did Heart. Heart got
I've
a
actually
flawless
started to
victory
hate the
on
sweeping one the
6.
most. There's been a lot of runs where that guy is just
Now we've seen multiple copies of Subsuming
Murderous.
Blade in this run, which I think is one of the cards that gained a lot from the release of Last Divinity. You have a lot of random damage shields, spell shields, extra armor thrown around on units. Also important to take out specific key units when you're fighting Divinity, like the units that are protecting enhanced mini bosses or backliners that are giving spikes. the real issue is that one, the subsuming blades came around a little late here, and also these players have so many things they want to do with holdover. I mean, it's not just your defensive plan like your frenzied swarm or your engulfing smoke. It's also
Ooh, look at that
ice
resin
storm,
block.
a lot of your
Well,
free
I mean, that's
clear
not
or
really
your
good for
molded.
any of the current
I think
strategies.
they're spread way too thin on things that really need holdover.
But man, that whole
Yeah, that
reform
being said, even if we get
strategy
it
with
up
Cold
to
Kalia could have
15
been
damage, the
insane
fact
with
that
that
it's
plus
piercing and
10.
You can choose the target. It's still pretty. I think it's early enough
Wait.
to take it.
What
Extra
does?
burnout being offered?
What are the upgrades on that Cold Kalia?
Yeah, so that's actually really big for Heart's strategy. He's leaned hard into this double cast on Wax and Spike.
Hallowed Halls would be
and
nice.
is definitely going to be looking to get it turn 1 to get intrinsic on it. That's
Is
going to be
is
really,
Hallowed
really massive getting
Halls
that
ever
extra
not
burnout
nice?
stacks, because then he can kind of just leave
Actually,
his
it's
units there and not worry about them.
There's sometimes I've
that'll end up being
like
14
autopiloted myself.
stacks of,
I mean, you've seen it.
burnout on all
I've
his units
autopiloted myself
on
into the
his field
ground with
floor,
Hallowed
turn
Halls
1.
before.
He can kind of
Especially when there's wide
keep that up a
sweepers.
little
Turns
bit
out
with the
giving
heals.
like
That should be enough to
500
get him
armor
through
to the whole
fight
floor isn't
and
the
through
best
relentless.
move. Sometimes.
Old magic.
Sometimes. Not all the time.
Solid
go to hold old magic. Old
Sometimes
magic
you
is
just
a
got to
weird
do
one
it
for,
to flex that you can
tournaments,
still
is
kill them.
Trying to make those decisions at a reasonable pace can be very difficult. The decisions that you make with this card are really a lot more important. It has this feel of something that you kind of just throw together, and no matter how you do it, you're just getting a bunch of decent effects. The problem is some effects want you to target your own things, some effects want you to target enemy things, some effects want you to target your units that you don't mind shifting around floors or shifting their space on floors, and some of them do.
Well, I do like
so when
that,
you put those things together, you can run into
I
scenarios
probably should
like
have
we
read
just
this
saw with
beforehand, but I
Hart, where
learned today
you just
that
couldn't even take
it's
the
double
card. It
elimination,
was
so if you're
actually very
out, you still got a
counterproductive
chance. I like that
the
because
mechanics that were applied to the card wanted to do too many
I
different things.
didn't practice as
Yeah,
much as I
like,
usually
the one
do.
that gets me is you have to
I hammered
commit
it
to
last night
pushing
as best I
forward or
could, but
backwards, and sometimes you don't
if
know.
I have an early
what
bad
is-
one here, I have
depends
another
on what you
shot,
get
so I'm
later
glad
on the
that there's at
card.
least the
Yeah,
removed
or
pressure of
usually
that.
like
But obviously
descend
we'll
is
still
something
play
that's
to win,
really
of
good
course,
against, your floating bosses or random enemies.
if
to buy time,
I
plug
screw
up
up,
leaks.
which happens,
But if you end up
I at least
taking
have another shot.
buff effects or rage or healing, then that's not too great. So if you see a bunch of like push, pull, and descend, you end up having to shift that into being
yeah,
a
that
card you
silence
try to play
tone
on
for the
enemies.
armor harvest
You might
is
just not have set up the card
pretty
to be
dang
productive
good.
to play on enemies up to that point.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
dang good.
especially for divinity, having the ability to change enemies around is very important. So much so that I often end up giving the card buff and then using out enemies anyway. So Halicon just got a flawless ring 6 kill, but he had to restart there, I believe, or ring 5 kill. So
I'm gonna go back real quick to the strategy. That
It's always
Hard is running with
disappointing
this
to
wax
know
and
you could have
spike.
flawlessed it.
He ended up
I'm
just
sure
taking
I
consumer
would
removal
have
on
to guess
his
I'll
spike,
restart at
on his
least
spell chain
at least
spike. So now
once.
he's locked out of getting intrinsic.
My
I
no
think maybe
restart
he's recognized
like
that,
rate in my
this
practices
isn't going
wasn't super
absolutely
high.
Perfectly for him, he's taking a lot of damage.
I'd
he doesn't know how the
say
other players are doing.
maybe 50%
what
I could do
rings
it
they
without
leaked on, or if they
restarting,
leaked on any
but
rings at all.
there's
And he
just-
might feel like he's
especially
in a
the
position
divinity
where if
fight.
he's not hitting that wax and
I guess
spike
it doesn't
turn
matter
one,
if you
and
had to
having
restart the
extra effects
divinity
on it,
fight.
then
I
he's
guess you might
just
as
in
well just
such a
end
bad
it
spot.
because
That,
you lose
or
all the
maybe he
points
missed
anyway,
how much
but-
burnout he's getting with
so maybe
the,
in that regard
possible
it's
wax,
not too
and
bad, but
spike. Spell chain wax and
there's
spike,
still
maybe
like
he
some
thinks
ring
he's
4s and ring
needing more
5s that
burnout
I
when
just
these-
it's really hard to navigate and I've had
Either
to
way, now
restart
he's
them.
lost the opportunity to get for.
But yeah, I'll
get
never give
intrinsic,
up.
which makes
That's
his
one thing I
deck
can
very,
guarantee
very
you. I will never give up.
turn one.
True. He did take
Right.
a draw gem, and that helps a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking at about
Firewall is
1 and
top
4.
tier in this, and also Golden Vault. There was
So,
a
Dusk, let's see how
challenge.
Dusk did. Dusk
I know we had
got a
talked
flawless
about this
ring
vision,
7.
but Golden
He
Vault, I
is
kind of trashed it.
primed
But
to just take
that is
the
like top tier in this type of
There's
format.
crushing
Like
demise, by the way. That'll help
the
him-
final
that'll help enable really
qualifier,
good,
I could have
flying
gotten
kills on Divinity.
a
Ooh, looks like we
much
had
better
another
score
restart
had I
from
taken it.
here.
Everybody that
Like,
took
we
it
had
just
to restart on ring
crushed everybody
6,
that
was
didn't
it?
take it in terms of score.
Yeah, ring 6.
You basically
spike
just
check.
never take damage.
So he's not having too much problem.
Unless you're gonna die. If
cleaning
you're
up
gonna die, you
waves.
die, but
McBeard actually hasn't
as long
encountered
as you
as many leaks as
have
some
some
of the other
gold,
players, but he's
Golden
not
Vault
had the
just pretty much
longevity going
prevents it
into
all.
divinity fights that the other players have had. His scaling just
Oh
isn't that
man,
fast.
Penitent. Y'all
Now,
know how I love
Dusk here
Penitent.
looking at an ice storm. I think he's in such an amazing position here. Did he end
He's
up
actually
taking
handling
crushing
Hart's
demise?
handling it pretty well though.
We'll see
Like
it
for
pop up in
how
the
I mean,
video.
potentially
I find
awkward
it
this
hard
is.
to turn that down, but it looks like he might have skipped
Surprised he didn't mold up top.
no,
Oh
he
no,
took it.
Kind of
there
missed
it
an
is.
incant, or
Yeah,
maybe he
so,
didn't
I mean,
want to
Crushing
trigger the
Demise and
offering
Ice Storm,
monument.
enhance that Ice Storm.
Maybe he just
and
didn't want to trigger the
he
offering
can
monument.
probably afford to just lean hard into Emergence of Magic here and get one more holdover.
Crushing the Mind
that
hits
gives you,
those many bosses. It's really strong.
yeah, especially combined with the Ice Storm. Any of these other random cells, like your Energy Siphon setting something up, if you can pre-clear the frontliner or backliner that helps out the enhanced mini boss and set up the guaranteed Crushing Demise, then you're completely set up against that. Not only to avoid it from taking a lot of damage to your pyre to these mini bosses, but also that's a big opening to smack Divinity. That's a good way to enable flying kills on Divinity. Just getting a full pre-clear.
Yeah, I mean, even getting a 2-turn boss
Super
rush
drag
counts as a flying kill. So having just the 1 turn against the boss could enable that.
Oh, he has a
victory-
crushing demise. I didn't catch that.
Oh,
It must be what is he
that's
digging
what's
for
on
that
the
probably?
victory screen. I was like, oh, he finished another ring. No, he was just deciding on what cards to get.
I will say,
Must be
maybe
at the
a
very
path
bottom
back
of the
into this,
deck.
For McBeard, the one thing that he's picked up that every other player who has passed him
maybe he
has
already
not had the
maybe he
ability
already
to get
cycled it.
was a Wax Snuffer, which he doesn't have an amazing setup for right now, but that's one of those busted artifacts that can set up flying kills.
Crushing
or just,
demise.
guaranteed
Rising
flawless
dusk.
fights.
So Hart did
And
not
there's
take
a lot of powerful
a crushing
tunes that you can
demise.
pick up later on.
Yeah, but
or even
we
I
have
feel like
packs,
crushing
you know, like,
demise
you
is so
get
powerful right now because
Bounty
just the
Stalker, but
fact
I
you
think
can
Ring
literally
6 is the
delete
last
a
chance
mini
to get
boss.
something like that.
I suppose though,
Or,
if you
yeah,
have
I
the
think you can get a rare from Ring 7 as
the
well.
scaling,
The Bounty Stalker and
you
Ring
probably
7
don't
is
need
just
it.
not worth
But I just like that safety net of being able to delete a boss.
There was, for example, that copy of Formless Child, though that might be a
Apparently
trick
they're
to one to
removing
set up,
that
especially when you're worrying about a time
eventually.
crunch.
Apparently they don't want it to
trying to get
function
yourself
that
in a
way,
position to, like,
which
get
is
one of your
interesting.
sirens dead,
I could see it, I guess.
or
I mean,
both
it's
of them
pretty
dead and
powerful
Formless
just to
Child them
delete
back.
a
Sure.
thing. Then again, they did say they were going to remove the gifts
And
Surge
we have
Stone
the
interaction,
Barnow.
and that never
We had
happened.
so
So
much
you never
tool
know. You never
support
know.
in this run, but just no tunes.
I wonder about that. I wonder if Skull will. I mean, the text says non-bosses, so I'd have to guess that
Okay,
the
we
Skull
have,
also doesn't do it.
Helicon with a,
Which might
again, a
now
large
make-
damage gap,
Like I would
with
say
some
probably the
bonuses
sword
on
is the
that.
best if that's the
Hart
case.
just got Ring 7 kill, but it was not flawless.
Ooh, there's the crushing device. Oh, is that a? Wait.
So worth noting for the audience members.
Oh, I see. Rising Dusk
had a
was ahead
bit
of Heart.
a
Okay, I didn't
decent there.
realize that. So, oh
There
yeah,
are
he took the crushing
exactly
device. I was gonna
3
say like
extra
I'd be
minutes
surprised if he
on
skipped
that
it
clock in the middle of your screen
because it's just
so they're
yeah,
currently looking
so
at 13
powerful.
minutes. I don't think it's gonna
I am
looks like
playing.
players are gonna
I
finish, but
think
sometimes your last event
after
you're
this,
sacrificing over
so
long.
I can't remember. Let me
we're
double
still
check what
maybe
time
approaching
that
time crunch here.
is.
I'm interested to see how these ice storms get enhanced. Like a single
Where's the
forgotten name is not
tournament?
quite getting you there on Magic Power.
So I'm in Group B A,
I think Rising Dust is extremely well set up for flying kills.
which is.
Oh, you think
just
so?
given the
I guess they didn't give a time,
he has
but
the crushing
if I were to
demise, he
estimate,
has an ice storm
probably
he can set up,
11 a.m.
But he's also
or
he's
sorry,
the one that's
1
leaned
p.m.
really hard into the
Pacific,
Dual
so
Warrior
like
plan.
30 minutes from now, roughly.
You get one good pre-clear and a lot of
see, though.
incants. You can go pretty nuts.
It could
though.
it could
He's
change
the only
depending
one who's not on double
timing
card draw.
issues. They have to switch commentators
So,
and stuff.
Maybe taking that mana ends up meaning he can't play enough.
And
spells.
once
Like,
so
obviously
when I
can see the
play,
merits of the
oh
mana
yeah, I can do
and
that.
really important
Let's
This is
Oh,
going to
so-
depend on how early he gets his
let's
Zeal
just do
Gorgon.
this.
Beard needs to restart on Ring 6.
Is that better?
Would be his third restart. Oh, for just this fight, yeah, he's restarted twice. Having some real problems in the Relentless fight.
Probably. I can imagine it's annoying to have me talking over all their voices.
Just the power level of a lot of the cards in these decks and seeing players struggle with them. I think we ran into a lot of things where
Yeah. So when I play,
which players draw their cards. Also,
it wasn't specifically like disallowed or anything. I probably won't look at chat while I'm playing though, just in the spirit of like
that can still be
the
when you're split priority draws,
the tournament, I guess. Try to make it like
Titan centric
all my play. I could see it being like pseudo cheating if I'm looking at chat that kind of notices something. So, but feel free to say anything. I just probably won't be really looking too much at chat when I actually play.
Everyone took at least one draw.
And yeah, I probably won't commentate too much when I play, because if I do, it's really hard for me to keep under that 55-minute limit. But I'll still talk here and there. Yeah, I'm not a super fast player, but if I don't commentate, I can usually finish in like 45 minutes. Yeah, I will stream. I'm just gonna keep this stream running till the end of today's tournament. I'll stream when I play, and I'll also still stream when the other stuff's going on. Just watch other people play too. Yeah, beer is good. I'll have some beer waiting for me after this.
Players who came in with kind of a presupposition of how they wanted to handle shards going into the tournament might actually change their strategy throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
A little bit of gut reaction there.
Yeah, I mean, I think having a strategy of this is how many shards I want to take.
Yeah, Dusk.
It's hard because really, like, taking shards.
It's tough to keep that frontliner alive. It's like, I wonder if the endless shark needs to just go up there. Maybe just let the siren die, I almost feel. I don't know. It's tough to say. Because that melee weakness, if it stacks up, it's going to get one shot. I guess he could just let it hit here, though, so that could work too.
How do you pace your shards? Because some things which might seem to be good equity or like good return on your shard values early on might be worthless because it's early on. There tends to be this weird power curve problem where it's easier to kill those 290 health shard enhanced gilded wings later on than it is to often kill those, I don't know, like 75 health 4 power sweepers in the first couple fights.
Or ring 4 boss with multi-strike 4, right?
That's right, he still has 15 armor.
Yeah, I see the point. Like, early shards, you better be worth it if you're getting high threat level early on. You better have something to help you capitalize on that.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards trying to keep myself at yellow or lower for the first few rings and then going hard into it later on. And that seems to be the strategy that
Oh, that's a restart from McBeard. Ring 6.
Yeah, McBeard seems to be in a bit of a hole here. He has 8 minutes left as well, which that's going to end up being a problem now, though, obviously getting through the ring and trying to get yourself
The tourney is random as far as the participants are concerned, but the tournament organizers pre-selected the seeds, so they kind of vetted them to a certain extent. I think Viable actually vets them to a pretty good degree. Looks like Halcyon might have to restart here.
but this is double elimination,
So that's ring 7.
at least one extra match to keep themselves alive going into
So Helicon has to start in 7. It was just like a couple.
But yeah, it's basically we don't know what we're gonna be playing, but the commentators do.
especially the shark.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna play. Yeah.
He is like doing 50 damage. Now,
I'm trying to think what I would like. I mean, Melting Remnant, I think, is pretty strong. It might be my most comfortable. I'm actually pretty comfortable with either Wormkin primary. Wormkin's secondary is a little bit harder for me to pull off. Oh, Dusk restarted. Interesting. Let's do that. So Hart now kind of takes the lead if he can beat this without restarting. Let's see. Dusk. Ring. It's 8, right? Ring 8.
Again, I think draw order dependency became a real issue here, and splitting your banner units became a real issue here.
Thanks, S Demon. I have a lot of that to owe to Vision of Fire right here. He has helped me a lot with various Remnant strategies. I'll feel right at home if it's a Dark Calling run. I would love a Dark Calling run. Though I'm sure he'll still cringe at a lot of the plays I'm gonna make. I still have so much to learn with the Dark Calling route, but I like the Dark Calling route. I feel like it's one of the deepest strategies in the game. Like the most high ceiling of how much you can learn with it.
That gifts in this situation. Like again, there's an inherent risk if you feel like you either took your draw or you put yourself into a position where you need to play it and you're risking hitting.
I would if I was Dusk. He's still got how much time does he have? So it's 45. He has 10 more minutes. Might as well game it, since he's not going to get points. I wonder though, what's he doing different this time? He did this same setup last time.
There's no way of knowing that this is going to be a big kill.
I wonder if he wants to try to get Rector in front for the Relentless rounds.
Yeah, I think the problem with gifts is just
Oh, did his stream freeze? Now his is getting blurry for me. He's got the McBeard,
then it's pretty strong. But then you have a problem where
still got a crisp one from Heart at least, in Halcyon.
so I think it has the potential. I just think that they need to have time to capitalize on that potential.
Yeah, I mean, might as well, right? If you can get the Wicked Blaze plus 10, that's plus 10 per... That's plus 15 per incant. I mean, that's a lot of damage. Sack it with the flash freeze. Just, yeah, sack it with the flash freeze. It's tough, though. I mean, when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see the plays a lot of the time. I know even in the one that I won, there was some real big misplays I made. It was like I was just like letting Vengeful Shards hit me for no reason. Not playing my Ember Imps and stuff.
If he's watching the time, and if he's recognized how little time he has left. Sub 4 minutes now. It seems to be
4 minutes. I thought it was 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's depending on how the other guys are so far back though that Dusk might still be fine because top two move on here. I have to imagine Dusk is not going to get caught by the other two since they had to restart so many times. But Heart definitely looks to be yep, he has it here. So Heart's going to be the winner here. I don't think there's a way Dusk can make those points up unless he gets like. I guess if Heart dies and then Dusk like kills Divinity, that would be a way. But I mean that's possible. He's got 10 pyre health, and Dusk, if he wins here, will have full pyre health. Yeah, I guess it is even, isn't it? Because Dusk hasn't really taken as much damage, though he loses a lot here. Because he loses. Keep in mind he loses not only the flawless, but he also loses. Yeah, no, I guess you're right. Because he loses the 5 from, oh shit, what the hell? Why does my phone think I said something? I don't want to say the name that the phone recognizes, but it thinks I said that name. Rhymes with eerie.
look at a lot of these decks that are dealing with Frostbite or Incant, or Burnout for that matter, there can be a lot of little things that can add up to massive amounts of damage. I mean, upwards of 1,000 or more damage. Especially when you're looking at Neogorgon, a single extra Incant trigger, if you can hold those in a slightly different way.
I'll be honest, I think they should have upped the time limit. Most players aren't going to be able to complete in time, is my guess, myself included, but we'll see. Even, Divinity takes forever, but even just the normal fights nowadays take longer. There's more decisions on the map, too, with the Divine Temples. Just a lot to consider. I feel like an extra 5 minutes isn't nearly enough. But luckily I can, if I really want to, I can kick it into overdrive.
Looks like this
I-
is going to come down to time being called.
For everybody.
What is the time
It's not. I thought it's 55 minutes. Is it 50 minutes? Did I not get that right? Let me see. Minute. It says 55 minutes in the tournament rules. So if they started at 12, then they should have 5 more minutes. Should I say something to the chat?
Ooh, got some risky crushing demises that seem to be necessary. Trying to kill an enhanced Darkwing. Enhanced Darkwings give armor to their entire wave. So we have some crushing demises being thrown on floors with relevant units to try and deal with that. Pretty unlikely to hit, given that those waves have 5 enemies in them.
Okay, so we got Divinity kill by Dusk, or not Divinity.
I'm gonna say something when there's space to say something. I think they still have 5 minutes, right? 55-minute qualifiers.
Oh, is it?
Oh, was it 55?
I thought it was 55. On the Reddit post, it said 55.
Okay.
Okay, it must have been that Nate made. I think. Oh, didn't he say he added 5 minutes because of Divinity animations?
I think so.
Okay, that's what it is.
All right, I saved their lives.
4-minute timer, and we will just go by that.
Oh, is McBeard out? He might have just sort of. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Not gonna catch Hart and Dusk in 5 minutes there.
Yeah, that's gonna be a death for him.
Yeah, I haven't really been watching Hart's Divinity fight here. I should probably do that.
Knew that there wasn't much point in trying to.
It looks like a tough one. I mean, this is tough.
I was gonna say interesting how his in-game time came out to 33 minutes, but there were a lot of restarts.
We'll see. I mean, if the incant is working for him, but also slightly against him with the armor gain.
Big issue.
It's overall helping him, I think. 2 times 4. Actually, it's hurting him, I guess, because 2 times 4, right? So 8 versus 10.
Lower floor setups, just a way to soften up waves. But that's adding another layer of complexity, which might just play against the clock too poorly.
Yeah. If I get those reloads, I'll be fine. But the reloads, they invalidate every score on that floor, so you really don't want to. My guess is, like, the main differentiating factor, assuming everyone makes it through a run, is the reload amount. Ooh, okay, Heart is down. But that was a valiant effort.
The thing is, the problem is.
I don't know if there's any point in restarting Divinity. Unless you had time to just say if you could have beat it, because I think you lose all the points anyway. I was actually a little unclear on that, though, because it says 10 points for beating Divinity. It says you lose points on the ring for a restart. I don't know if that encompasses, like, beating Divinity. The shards still count, so his shards still count. I do know that, but the restart, I think, would invalidate the Divinity kill. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. I will say if I have time left over and I'm dead, even if it doesn't get me extra score, I'll restart just to try to see if I could have beat Divinity. Might as well, right? But if it's like here, where it's like 2 minutes left, I'll just take the L. Yeah, I'm going to ask that.
The good news for him is he's already in first place score-wise. It doesn't matter if he completes this. So it looks like it's going to be Hart in Rising Dusk moving on.
I gotta say, I'm impressed though with all the play of all players here. That was a pretty tough seed. I suspect, knowing Viable, these are gonna all be tough seeds.
It looks like
You know, he definitely vets them. Let's put it that way. You will see if the Hallowed Halls are there. I could see him vetting the run and just saying, "Oh, Hallowed Halls too easy, throw it away." But I may just not end up with Melting Remnant. My weakest ones, I would say, Umbra. Umbra secondary. I'm pretty good with. I think I'm okay with Umbra primary, but Umbra secondary. Just because I don't really like the units that much. They're so Gorge focused that it's like I have to all in on Gorge if I'm going to use them. Otherwise, they're mostly a miss, other than like Morsel Maker's a pretty good infusion, but yeah. Is that so? Does Hart actually? Hart got the first place there then, huh? And these. I'm not looking forward to facing either of them if I make it through. They're beasts. But, actually I should look forward to it. I should look forward to any good competition, right? Okay. I wonder how much time I have. Do I have time to go to the bathroom? Alright, I'm gonna step away really quick. Gotta empty the faucet here.
Alright, so winner bracket.
Alright, folks, so this is the bracket that we're working with here. To kind of explain how this is going to work, every player, this is double elimination, so every player is going to need 2 wins out of their 2 to 3 matches in day 1 to advance to day 2. The wins are counted just as the top 2 players in each round. So round 2 of this is going to be the 2 winners from each of the first rounds.
Alright, I'm back. Thanks. May the Red Bull and luck course through me.
Then the final round of each group will be the 2 losers from the winners playoffs and the 2 winners from the elimination round. So each of those will be the 4 players with a 1-1 record. The win there will send you into day 2, and the loss there will knock you out. And that will be exactly the same for group.
I'll put it to my screen here.
Rundown for people there. I will update these layouts as we go. I'm gonna have to get us hopefully set up with.
I need to stop the watching of these streams.
There are 5 that will actually take place, but a couple of them are run in tandem here. Because we should have people shifting into this room. But I'm not seeing. Let's see who else we got here. I'm gonna go ahead and set it up for the players who are staying. Rising Dusk and Heart moving on, which means McBeard and Halcyon are out. But I don't currently have a way of knowing which players made it from the other match. Anyone here? Nate, do you have the results, or
Yes.
do we have the 2 players who are moving on?
Yeah. So current results are that room 1 will be Rising Dusk, Heart, Peanut Jack, and Ka. Room 2 will be McBeard,
Oh.
Halcyon, CGB Admiral, and Night Angel.
So we have Peanut Jack and Chua are the 2 moving on.
Oh, maybe I'm not playing right now. I guess they go right.
Yeah, so they'll stay in room 1.
I guess they'd play the winners of A first before B then.
We have no way of telling where people are going
Well,
to go here.
we're just going to wait a little bit more then. I will go back to watching mode.
Time-wise,
Yeah,
so
I think what we'll do is I think we have to kind of shift the schedule around shift it back a few minutes.
Can we be ready in like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need the players to share their screens, and then you should be good to go. Actually.
Okay, great. So then those that need to go into room 2, please jump over to room 2, and we'll get everything set up.
All right, so
We have our participants.
I'm
That's a good question.
I'm not sure why I'm B. Whatever formula
Polycon, you can move
that they had for their seeds, I guess, just put me there.
Yeah, sorry, I just realized they hadn't undeafened and unmuted them.
Uh-oh, we got
then,
somebody that wants us to
if
become
you're on
famous.
room 2, you'll be in the losers bracket for a chance to still compete, and then for the others, you can remain here.
There we go.
All right, looks like everyone's sharing their screen.
Looks like we have.
Oh,
4
let's see. Gotta get the right ones up here. Okay, so let's full screen this. So this is, we got Dusk and Tangalicious. This is the winner's bracket from Group A. We didn't see Ka and Peanut Jack. I don't know Ka very well, but I think if I remember correctly, he does stream. So that might be worth checking out if you're looking for other streamers. And then Peanut Jack was from the previous tournament, and he was a finalist, I believe. So both Dusk and Peanut Jack were finalists in the last tournament. Heart, very good. Ka, from what I can tell, is pretty good too. So yeah, just more high quality play coming up.
So how was the other match?
And I gotta be honest, I'm really worried. My
severe stress.
my quarterfinal bracket is pretty tough. I've never Nathaniel. Everybody knows him, right? Pretty good. And Sleepy Bear Jake, also very good. And why am I blanking on his name?
So for some reason, the way Discord works, every time
Ben Grew, who also is doing pretty decent. He is also a game dev.
every time new
So
people walk in and out of the room,
I'm actually like a little nervous for the first one, but
even what
happy that if I lose, I can still have a chance in the losers bracket to make it in.
so try to
That's true. That's my hope. That's my hope, is that the restarts. I've been restarting a lot in the Divinity. I haven't been proud of it, but
technical issues.
I've tried in my practices to not, this week at least, to not do it as much as I can. So yeah, Bear can do he's very variant. He'll either like have an insane deck, or he might just kind of go too hard in on one strategy and peter out. It's hard to say.
Everyone's
You can never really predict with him. I don't know Ben's play style. I haven't really seen him play per se, but I do know he was doing pretty good in those qualifiers. Yeah, I think if I can just make it to Divinity, not restart, I'm good. That's my goal. I might, I mean, I could even say I build just to get to him and not even worry about building to beat Divinity. That could be the strategy, to be honest. Build something that's so strong early to mid game that I don't restart any of those fights. I could even maybe just lose to Seraph. I could see that working.
this one right here.
Because these seeds, I gotta imagine they're all hard. Like this combo right here. Wait, that's Primordium. This is a good combo. This is a good combo, but I'm sure the seed's still pretty hard. If it was Penumbra, I'd say it's a pretty tough combo, but I think that either aggressive or superfood with Hellhorde is quite nice. You know, there's so many superfood targets. I actually really like superfood with this combo. There's armor, there's rage, there's the most forms of multi-strike available. I mean, those are mainly it, but that's a lot of things, right?
Round to match up with players.
All right,
Yeah, Primordium Sweeper, that would be a little too easy. But you might get Primordium Trample, you never know. It's almost like a sweeper, right? Kinda, maybe. Or Primordium Endless multi-striking. You start with perils, so I mean, Void Binding or Furnace Tap is very strong. Oh, there, Narnanian got that wrong. There is Rage Generators, perils. Oh man, I really want to jump in here. Give him some shit. So they do have super. This is a tough thing though. It's like realistically, probably aggressive is the right call, right? Because aggressive is a lot more consistent. Superfood is very speculative. Like if you don't hit the good superfood things, it's pretty much a wasted champ. Yeah, yeah. Aggressive is. Aggressive, I think I would have a tough choice here. Superfood will bleed points definitely. Especially with these tanky type first groups. Another thing I need to do in these qualifiers is avoid trials. Trials have been the bane of me in my practices. Dusk has taken a lot of time to I'll bring up the names real quick. So Dusk top left, Heart top right, Ka bottom left, Peanut Jack bottom right. Dusk took a while to set up that first ring. He's definitely game planning. I like it. My best runs, I think, are where I do take that amount of time to really set my game plan out from the start, see what my outs are. Yeah, trials, it's like, it almost hurts you most of the time unless... I still think unit drafts I'll reach for. But if it's just like 75 gold, and I think it's the difference between me taking pyro damage or not, I'll probably not take it. There's also a lot of times though, I'm gonna take pyro damage anyway. There's that factor too. So in those, I think I still probably should take the trial. It's tough to really, in the short amount of time, consider everything, like all the math and whatnot. My on-the-fly math is pretty weak too. Yeah, the money on that note, the divine boons. So even like you see Dusk, he avoided the trial, I think. Did he avoid the trial? Yeah, he avoided it and still took damage. So it's like maybe he would have been better off taking the trial there. Yeah. And did Dusk take superfood? So everybody, actually Peanut Jack the only one to not take damage. So Peanut Jack off to the early lead. Definitely looking like Ka's gonna take a big amount of damage here. He might just want to restart here. That's a lot of damage. I mean, is he dead? He might want to just restart. Even if he lives, that's going to be so little pyre health. Then again, he does have the pyre wall, though. Maybe he just goes for it. Get the 5 points. I'm trying to calculate. I mean, this should be I guess, let's see. So he's down to 134. 20 times 7. He needs to have 7 hits, so 7 times 6. He'll survive. He'll survive if he does it. Okay, he's restarting. Oh, he has lifesteal. I did not factor in the lifesteal. That might have actually... Yeah, you're right. With the lifesteal, he probably actually was dead. So what did Peanut Jack do differently that allowed him to not take damage? Mark of Invasion. He has a lot of ways to kill those. I think it might be a good... Oh, he has the Alpha Fiend. That's decent.
When you're starting out with the deck with
In a so he went aggressive,
copies of Zen,
and I think Rising go? He must have went aggressive too if his Primordium's dead, right? They both went Alpha Fiend. I didn't see what the banner offerings was. Was it between Alpha Fiend and what? Did anyone see?
post Divinity tournament.
I guess we'll see with Ka once he beats this here. Oh, hopefully he beats it here. It actually didn't go better. I don't think it went worse for him. It looks like
Considerable thing to power up with Divine Temples.
he might as well restart again.
A bit of a meme to people, or like it's kind of a mark
He has more armor this time.
start scaling the late game. But
He'll do it.
actually with piercing can be really powerful.
Yeah, I agree. So we got our first
Rough.
now.
No. No. Does anyone remember Mike Goldberg from early UFC days? No, Nathan just pulled a Mike Goldberg, if anyone knows that reference.
Losing his and then he couldn't actually just like cobble together something to beat up the life steal stats from the boss off,
It's all over. Oh, no.
which you would expect this deck to have some chunkier decks. I do
The
like
ultimate fighting champion. The ultimate defining championship.
insane essences to play
Yeah.
around with.
Yeah, but it's Hasson's real problem. They have crystal extension.
Yeah, so there's the question of, do you take the Alpha Fiend for its essence because its essence is very strong and try to put it on something a little smaller, a little more flexible later, or do you just go ahead and power it up? I think actually what we might see here is play very similar to what we saw coming
I didn't even pay attention to what the banners were with Ka. I'm so bad at following along with 4 screens. I need to just watch one at a time. So there's a Shadow Eater, I know that. Ooh, Heart might have to restart here.
two enhancements on the Alpha Fiend and then putting its essence on the second.
You know, Heart is the only player that didn't restart so far. But it looks like, oh, he got it. Nice. Wow. Yeah, Heart is looking like
Another thing to consider really heavily as we're going
pretty strong, even though I think they're tied right now, Dusk and Heart. Well, Dusk hasn't,
to have Primordium do
yeah, they're tied, I guess.
Primordium, not the biggest fan of spikes.
Ooh, Alloy. Now, Alloy is the one Umbra unit I can actually do things with. The Alloy into Alloy Infusion is a classic.
Blade, you're going to have a big problem. And
Get
honestly,
triple multi-strike, double fuel. It's pretty good.
free clearing wipes.
Oh man,
Apex
Apex Imp
Imp.
and Perils of Production seem pretty strong.
I didn't see an Apex Imp. Maybe they're just talking about.
Experience with the Imp. But it's going to work very well for the players that end up on this collection of tails here.
All right, Ka does have this one.
Pretty large divides in how in the approaches to which artifacts to draft from these players as we go through these runs. Like obviously some of these drafts,
This looks like a tough run so far.
the precious plating weren't
I don't know how I would be doing here. This is like
but once you're all
not actually like I probably would have went superfood and not felt great about it. I think with the ritual of battle it becomes better.
Seeing in a ritual battle,
So it might have worked out for me, but that ring 1 I would have took a lot of damage.
especially with that Apex Imp.
I also don't know that I would have seeked out a Umbra banner. I can't remember if that alloy was a unit draft reward or if it was an actual banner on the map. If it was unit reward, I would have been alright, but
tomorrow talking about really impactful essences, and I think one of the big ones
I do love me some Ritual, though. Ritual is like
are copies of Fledgling Imp. We've already passed
pretty good unit, or pretty good card, not a unit. It's a unit of a card.
a real big impact on this tournament when it pops up. You can get this just massive 1 mana.
Tough thing with Alloy right now is it's kind of hard to fuel it. I mean, Plinks are pretty unreliable. That's the only
Towards the Ember Drain setup.
morsel generation if I'm not. Oh, they have Shade Lamp. Oh, duh. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. True Gabriel fashion, I do not pay attention to the artifacts. Actually, only Dusk has it. That's
If you can get morsels, you can
where did he get that?
play those cards and not get Ember Drain. So it's
Well, that's definitely a good pickup for him. Everybody else took the wing steel. I don't really like wing steel. What do you guys think about wing steel? To me, it's like playing all of your stuff out and then drawing just doesn't seem beneficial most of the time. Sometimes it makes sense, but yeah, it depends on your deck, I guess. I find the way I play, I'm rarely having excess ember. It's usually like I'll just draw a card that I wanted to play, and now I can't play it, and now I have to cycle through the deck again. Yeah, Dark Calling probably makes a lot of sense. I guess with also like Shade Splitter, it's pretty good because you for one ember play 2 cards, or you could zero cost a few of them. Then it's a little bit better. Even the Plinks, if they are getting kills, it's a pretty easy wing steal proc. So there is an Apex Imp. I missed that. Heart has it. Now, I'm not surprised that Heart has an Apex Imp. That's like, you'll notice Heart at the top of most daily challenges, if not number 1, definitely like top 5, usually number 1. And there's a few sort of cards that are pretty common you'll see in a lot of those top scores. Apex Imp, definitely one of them. That unit seems to be like flying kill master, you know. So he might be going for flying kills eventually here. We'll see.
Both Ka and Dusk are getting a flawless ring, and there's Furnace Cap. So you're up against Wretch, though, so it's a tough decision.
Oh wow, that deranged.
I'll be honest,
Honestly, if this is me, I can
I'm not as big on Wretch.
deranged brute and hand.
Yeah, like I think the Furnace Tap I would take. Like,
I think you go for a 2-floor setup here. But double
I feel like by the time you use your Wretch, you've already scaled to where you need, and I'd rather just have an extra multi-strike.
a way to like actually get flying kills, deal with.
But I don't know. Maybe, I guess Wretch could be pretty good too. If there wasn't the Furnace Tap, it would probably be the call.
It seems powerful. It's very risky because
Deranged Brute has been interesting. Like,
and hope you can.
I actually haven't had much luck with it in the DLC. It's been hard for me to really,
Deal setup here is
without like an overstacking mechanic, it's just hard for me to fit it in on a floor and have it do things.
and then
Right.
a middle or bottom floor.
He's basically a fat totem.
If you're like
Probably at its best when you just put 2 25 healths or a 25 health in an endless. And then if you have something you can just really feed rage to. But looking at their decks, I don't know if there's like
especially when you start talking about
a whole lot of rage. They have a ritual and the perils of production. I believe that's it, right?
too shard heavy. Well, you know,
Oh yeah, Apex Imp. Come to think of it, yeah, Apex Imp. But I think only for Heart it makes more sense. I guess I'm looking right now at Dusk's screen. I'm just wondering if it makes much sense for Dusk's deck.
Scourge fell. Okay. Aren't having to
But definitely with Apex Imp it makes sense.
patience this time. But when you
I just don't. I don't know if Dusk has enough rage gen for it to work,
have right now are
but we'll see. We'll see.
morsels that work out.
Dark Deal's pretty nice.
Relying on big health numbers.
Even like I don't like the card, but Inflame works.
Mortal trade, I think,
I've been actually finding Inflame is slightly better in the DLC than it was in vanilla. I don't know how you felt about that one, but
There's some armor-based stuff with the welder helper.
also I you know what card I have a really tough time evaluating is Rage Serum. What do you think about Rage Serum? It's always seemed so low impact to me, but I wonder if it's actually good. And I'm just like missing on it. Yeah, it's just like 3 rage. I don't know. It's free, but I already get that from a Perils, and Perils doesn't consume, and it allows me an Ember Drain setup. Especially when you see something like Furnace Tap. Like, I'd be inclined to double stack that Furnace Tap, get a holdover or Permafrost on the Perils. You could also spell chain Perils on top of that. That's a pretty powerful thing. There's one thing I can do well, I think, with Umbra. It's Ember Drain, but my morsel game is pretty weak.
Like you just get holdover, lifesteal hopefully, and you don't need it.
I have. What do you think about Crucible Warden? I have found no use for that unit in the DLC.
Yeah,
It's like I can never keep it.
that life steal is still
Like it's just getting whacked over and over again, and it only like doesn't have that good of stats. Like at least Collector still is a pretty good relentless option because the lifesteal doesn't care about getting whacked a million times.
about doing something with
Yeah, I agree. A Crucible Warden could use a buff, I feel.
here. Oh, goes for Shadow Siege. That seems ambitious. I guess if you shift away from a superfood plan, maybe you can do something.
Oh, interesting. That would be
Another flawless kill on ring 4.
Consume Echo Right. Oh, did you get like the zero cost furnace tap? I've done that with Echo Right. It's pretty nice. Morsel Mast. Oh, so they're getting
Number and also like look
they're getting like 4 morsels a turn. That's pretty nice. The 2 cost Reap card. Oh, interesting. I'll be honest, I never really used that card, Vision of Fire. Have you found like much general success with it, or was it pretty specific to that run? I've had a hard time evaluating it. Oh, Anvil. Yeah, that's probably pretty good with it too.
pretty wide on their banner units. I think they're going to end up on 2-4 setups, but there is definitely a certain amount of draw dependency, draw order dependency here.
Yeah, and part of it is
I read your breakdown on the other 2 cost, the consume one. I think I'm starting to come around on it a little bit. The one that does damage based on consumed cards. I think I see where you are with that one. In my practice, it was doing okay if I could add the piercing damage to it. Then it became a pretty nice, targeted kill for those spike chicks and whatnot, or 25/3 damage dudes.
Feels a little too waffly. Feels like you're going to end up tossing yourself between now and the point at which you're forced to make that decision just by having
What is the name of that one? What is it? I don't know the names of the Wormkin cards. I'm so bad with those so far, but I hope Wormkin. I kind of hope Wormkin is involved with the one I do. For whatever reason, in all my practice, I was doing random mostly, and a lot of Wormkin was involved. The RNG really wanted me to play Wormkin, apparently. Yeah, I guess so. Does he have an endless imp? I didn't see.
he's a little light on fuel, honestly. I couldn't see it too well.
yeah.
Okay, so
Besides the champ,
if he's got that, does he have it infused with something too? Yeah, I mean endless welder helper, that'll be a lot of damage. It's a lot of armor each turn. There is the welder helper, but he's ember drained. Wait, does he not have perils on holdover?
it's 96 damage to furnace tap the constructs.
Like he's going to be
So he just has the perils not on holdover, and that's his way.
Makes it through with only 15 damage, not too bad. I mean,
That's
score, but
that could be rough.
yeah, sometimes that alloy construct
Man, vent the bottom, man. Vent the bottom. Vent the middle, I mean. I don't know about the vent there.
when you're working with synths and no copies of things like making a morsel or grovel.
I guess he has so many vents that he probably...
I'm actually really curious. So we saw a couple players go for Wretch instead of Furnace Tap. I'm curious to see how that plays out given how problematic morsel generation seemed here.
Yeah,
Also the fact that a lot of them are trying to fuel 2 floors.
yeah, I don't really see a lot of synergies between Wretch and Superfood. Like, you want Stalwart Snack, really, but you're not guaranteed to get it.
In the grand scheme of things, I think Hart will be fine. I think he just needs...
Heart here, struggling a little bit.
We'll see. I don't know what the map's like, but he'll obviously crush this boss, but
I think he's run into a bit of a problem with
I'm trying to think what he does about the perils.
have like at least in
plan.
Moments, he's made it through.
If he could hopefully he has a Merchant of Magic come out, let's put it that way. If he doesn't, maybe at least he has a Hellvent, and he could Hellvent apparels.
Important work and welder helpers. So that's one way to do it.
That is very true. That's also depending on the order.
I think he just needs to Hellvent that apparels.
Ember Drain plan.
Oh, demon. That imp is a demon, right?
Ember Drain plan.
It's a demon imp.
Really hard to do. And I think
So that's pretty good. Definitely just kind of doubled the power of that guy.
also on the upgraded planes, like we were talking about before, just throwing magic power on those every time he got a chance to, just making sure that he can consistently generate morsels, but also having ways to at least somewhat pre-clear waves early on in fights. That's going to be a bit more of a problem once
Yeah.
his divinity is going to eat up a lot of those blink hits.
A demonic imp.
Always a scary time playing Flinks against any wide wave, but when you have a floating boss that's on every floor, there's just no way you can rely on Flinks.
And I need to be watching Dusk too. Like, what has Dusk been doing? He's like going all in on this deranged brute. That's a very interesting. I mean, it's working out for him.
He's currently thinking about the important work.
He'll be happy if he goes to get the Gurg's Goat on that that deranged brute. He'd be triple striking with it at that point. So we'll see what Dusk does. I mean, the Hellvent's got to be enticing, right? I gotta imagine he goes that Hellvent route. Oh, he's like 2 floors behind actually. So we'll see. It'll be a while. He better pick it up actually. Like, that round started at 1, so 26 minutes. They're about halfway in. So I don't know. He might have to pick it up.
I think Kachua might be in a rough spot.
Oh, has he not even infused his deranged brute yet? He could be even better then. Oh, his allied construct. Oh, interesting. That's how he has the multi-strike. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he just barely gets there. You have to consider, like, he ended up getting a kill on the
Looks like Ka might be.
armor being applied to every single enemy.
Well, he'll survive here.
Like 10 or 15 damage over the line of being
As long as he can feel, though. Feel could be an issue.
I would have considered playing
900 health. 130 by how much? I wonder. Let's see. Does that dude have rage on it? The alloy? That might actually. Yeah, that rage should help. Okay, nice. Alpha Fiend. Oh yeah, Alpha Fiend with Shadow Siege. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, and he has melee weakness. And oh man, that Shadow Eater. That Shadow Eater is gonna be a frickin' beast. You might want to go Stalwart stack if you find it at that point, huh?
is going to be the actual scourge of
That is gonna be one hell of a Shadow Eater. Oh my god. That is gonna be awesome.
now, since we aren't going by
No, don't do that, Dusk.
afford to take more damage and
Yeah. Put that guy down. We want to see him. We want to see him go to work.
damage you're taking. It's really just a matter of did you take it or did you not.
I thought he was gonna engine upgrade for a minute. That's another thing. Slight little misclicks like that
Make yourself concerned about it again later.
could really hurt the points, because I am prone to those as well. He's got the Wretch. That's got to be really good for his Shadow Eater gameplay. Man, Dusk has a solid deck now. Like, he's got so many outs. He could beat it with either unit. Like, he could beat most of these fights with just one of the units, I think. But, well, I don't know. I guess he might be leaking here, so maybe I'm a little quick to... Okay, no, he's not leaking. That vent put him right there. I still think, though, that is pretty nuts. Then again, I mean, Heart's Apex Imp is pretty nuts, too. It's hard to really say which one is stronger. They're both very strong. I like it when you see 2 very different, very strong strategies in the same seed.
Big skill test here for how well players are able to kind of transition to this hybrid based deck. I mean, we see the Ashe
with preferably other imp essences on them.
Yeah, Heart's well ahead.
Any way to get them out of his hand. And I think we see between the players a mixture of all.
I'm trying to think.
No one really
Otherwise, they'd be tied, assuming Dusk doesn't take any damage. Because I think they both took damage ring 1, and that's it, right? Like, they haven't taken damage otherwise.
I would be tempted by that double rage.
There's a Gerd Goat in this as well. I don't mind the
What type of beer you got, S Demon?
I mean,
Curious
people
what
that have,
he's on.
yeah, people have alphacanes for the most part. So, Peanut Jack finishes ring 5 with a flawless victory.
Oh yeah, Hart is on the Apex Imp strat.
Oh, is that like a Belgian?
Goat's actually gonna do some work. Counts
Yeah.
as
Nice.
I always forget it's a demon.
Gotta love that double creature type. So it looks like Rising Dusk has gotten himself into a position where his mortal generation is pretty consistent. Not as much going on for Peanut Jack, who is our other rich player. Definitely managed making it by, but a lot of that's a result of his 2-4 split. Now this Shadow Siege essence on Alpha Fiend made this thing into an absolute monster. He hovered over Larkstone there for a second.
So,
From that.
5 damage short of a flawless
Now, I know Hart had a Shadow Eater at some point. Did he remove it?
Now, Dusk already has a lot of mortal generation. Kind of like this Grovel in general. Caven not as important now that we aren't worried about lower floor kills. Caven's still a very strong.
Oh, he still has it, it looks like.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
plug up
it could
leaks,
help.
but it's tougher
could
to set up
help.
on that lower floor.
It could help you enable a flying kill, but I don't see these decks being flying kills.
Nah, definitely not. Maybe with
For me, I got
setup, which he might
Boundary Bay,
do here.
Scotch Ale, and also Boundary Bay IPA. They are my current favorite.
A lot of your other pre-clearing for setting up flying kills.
I can't really choose which one I like better.
Will shift enemy units out of the way and let you hit Seraphel or Divinity on the floor without shifting.
Oh yeah, they. Yep, I've made that mistake.
Also just moving the wave that you weren't able to pre-clear, and it's still going to be sitting in front of the boss.
Although there was one run I couldn't make Apex work, and I just started using him as a yeet.
I think his deck has a lot
He's an okay yeet.
Now he's on Forever Flame. He's definitely in the best position to make a big imp deck here.
Yeah, they're American, kind of Pacific Northwest local brewery.
One of the players that was on the Elder Helper, but now he's got this Shroud Spike. Has he
Bellingham, to be precise.
the ability to get Pyre Chomper? 'Cause he could have actually had a combo deck here. I mean, if you just imagine the Umber Spike
I also always have my backup, which is
then Forever Flame, that's insane.
black boxed wine. I'm all about the boxed wine too. No sense spending money on those bottles when you can basically get the same quality for
But we see players
no real cost.
going too lean in general.
Wow, that
Decent amount of removals.
important work spell chain combo is insane.
We haven't seen any insane decks going down to 15 or 16 cards today. It's a tough thing to set up in these time constraints.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Uh-oh, Twitch delay? No. Darn it.
Well,
Um,
it also is a lot of risk, right? So it often involves not drafting cards.
it's like 5 seconds. Is it? I wonder why it's doing that. Maybe it thinks my internet sucks, which it probably thinks correctly.
Taking advantage of one of the weirdest wordings
I need to move.
that
I need to get to a place that isn't like some weird Bermuda Triangle of internet crappiness.
Oh, when he realized.
I can't even hardly blame Comcast. I mean, honestly, it's it's like the thing to shit on Comcast. But in all honesty, like I've had Comcast at other places, and I never had this issue. I think it's just like the area I'm in.
because you can do some pretty insane things with Alpha Fiend. Still a little tough. That's probably mostly just going to be his, soften up wave.
Penitent again.
That thing grows extremely fast.
One thing I'm noticing is, in general, a much higher shard count for this match than the previous. Everyone above what they need, except for Dusk, who's a bit further behind in the run, so still might get there.
Uh-oh. Got a restart from Heart.
Shard taking machine.
All right, that's the first Heart restart. Is that 8 or 7? Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by a restart from this deck. He seems to have one of the quickest setups of any of the players with this Apex in.
Don't start run. Don't start run. That would suck.
So it looks like Rising
So does 7. That Penitent is no joke. Penitent is
that's a lot more of what you need to
a nightmare. Is the Penitent ever easy? Sometimes, but it's rare.
Yeah, give some good food, good sustain. It lets you set up on the top floor in Divinity if you want to. Because you have plenty of damage potential in here, so really sustain is what you need.
Okay. The good old F5.
been displaying. I mean, on top of
Nice.
destroying last round, he's displaying very good game knowledge here, understanding the Shadow Eater setup. I mean, look at how big that thing has grown just by eating.
Yeah,
Morsels
you know,
not
and
even for damage.
Dusk, you know, in the private beta certainly has a lot of damage.
You have this class of players that understands the game, you know, through like iteration, playing a lot, but also just having a good sense for card games and mechanics and fundamentals. But Dusk seems to be one of those players that really just puts the hours into Monster Train to understand it.
Interestingly, you see him going for playing 2 torches over the penance, which
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm not sure I understand that.
So he has the pyre wall up here, and he's not going to recycle into the pendants if he gets.
Oh, yeah, that makes
if he
sense.
does
Makes
get
sense.
into it later on, he's on a retch plan here. Also, his deck is really thick thanks to all these morsels that he's left in.
So Peanut
from
Jack
previous run.
having to restart. Was
Oh,
that the same person
Peanut
who
Jack.
just had to restart? Yeah. Alright, so
Wasn't it?
that-
Okay, they are not.
quite a flying kill.
They are not retracking. They're not tracking their restarts very well. Okay. Ring 6 restart. Peanut
Yeah,
Jack.
very interesting transition with that combo on that Shadow Eater, allowing it to soften up waves.
Well, we have the written histories
Machine later on.
in case they need to consult.
Ring 7 flawless victory from Ka. Ka is really coming back from a rough start. Although he did have to restart in 2 fights, so a lot.
Wait, did
Look at the second copy of Shroud Spike. Pretty interesting. I kind of like the redundancy here because I don't think he's going to have a lot of room to pick up like consumption removal and holdover or intrinsic. And also just having extra copies of some of your really important spells lets you get them earlier on. That's not opt for that one. Also
So,
passes up on the copy of Important Work.
Heart dealing with one of the downsides of Cheater's Hand, which is he has
Time.
holdover cards with some draw, so Cheater's Hand basically does nothing, and it just slows him down.
could allow him to preserve some cards though.
Big of a deal for these players, but that's mainly, you know, we just haven't encountered as many hiccups. Weirdly enough, this run seems a little more punishing than the last one, but players struggling a lot less.
Well, it is the winner's bracket, so Heart just finishes rank 7, flawless victory.
Didn't Heart restart
Man, I
though?
love this Alpine on Shadow Eater.
You're really fascinated, huh?
See, I already knew about this interaction, but I just how fast that scales up.
It doesn't. It probably doesn't matter to be honest. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be top 2 anyway.
To build this busted unit on your lower floor isn't actually anything that's costing you.
Take a very long slip.
Shadow Eater on a lower floor to soften up waves and throw Morses from
Unless it's Primordium. I feel like with Primordium I'm okay.
zero opportunity cost for a
But anything else, yeah, it's gonna be a long sip.
Now we see the historian event here. gold-based event. Not as relevant now that we're not playing for gold. No
Right.
insane things. We can try to set up, you know, a
And the other
massive.
Uh-oh.
I mean, gratitude has the benefit of, you just play it once to get its full benefit. So even though it's ring 7, you can still get some gold from it.
Yeah, I also like the gift here, given how many of these players are on Perils of Production setups. Not super reliable, but if you can line those two things up, that'll actually give you an insane amount of gold. And honestly, Rising Dusk here, going in with like slight gold deficit.
Yeah. You know,
All of these players pretty low.
full cost ritual of battle still.
Yeah, not exactly where you want to be. I don't think he saw a value stone. I'm gonna say I think Rising Dusk is in an interesting position. He has a lot of strong synergies, but for best kill floor here probably still goes to.
I could probably trying to think what I could do. I could shut down
That's the strategy I probably would have focused
the
on.
YouTube stream, maybe, just since it seems most people are watching on Twitch right now.
Or what, as far as the change.
That is an option.
I like that a lot. Yeah, but Rising Dusk is the only player that hasn't had to restart yet.
Yeah, he's played very consistently throughout this tournament so far.
Then again, I don't know if it's actually contributing to the problem.
Leg, but it wasn't until ring 8.
It's always satisfying to see that melee weakness.
See some interesting issues when we go to the make or break round, next round. Honestly, like you wouldn't think about there being too much of a psychological game on string, but when you're playing at a fast pace, when you're playing against the clock, a lot of those things can stick with you and start to bug you. And I think players can get a little bit shaken by having to, you know, like encounter these restarts or encounter like really heavy adversity early on, and that'll stick with you going throughout.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage that Hart has. If he can break a few of these damage shields, he might be looking. Let's see, what would he need for a flying kill?
Shard bonus, depending on
Start plinking those damage shields. Oh, maybe he's not going for flying kill. Put the should have put that imp down first, right?
Not get enough shards. Obviously, you still have strong potential to win.
Oh, I guess he didn't have room for it. I didn't see that.
Given the time crunch we saw in last round, I won't be
Yeah, he didn't have room. Never mind.
surprised by beating Seraph.
So he can keep a. This arc's good. He can cycle the perils with Cheater's Hand.
Will he get enough shards in the last ring?
I could see that happening, not in this run though. Everyone has plenty of shards. Rising Dusk, the only one below 100, and he's only on ring. I mean, he's on ring 7, so he still has another shot.
Yeah. Also, plenty of time to kind of slow down here a little bit.
So YouTube. Okay,
Say how much players are paying attention to the clock.
I'll shut down YouTube for now.
No run can cost you.
Let me see if I can even do that without.
So it might be tough to even realize that you're in a situation where you can slow down.
Let's see. How can I do that without just shutting down this stream?
Put together here, the Forever Flame,
All right, I'm gonna.
the Pyre Chomper,
I think I have to end the stream momentarily.
Spikes.
Stay tuned. It should be back up in like 10 seconds.
Up on it. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, I think I'll just end it, and I'm gonna only have.